Hey everyone, today I want to do a video review, flip through of the amazing book How to Draw by Scott Robertson. I'm going to do a series of videos like this going forward, doing a lot of flip throughs and suggesting books and what I like about them. This one I have talked about here in the channel before, so I'm going to go a little faster. But it's interesting, one of the best books on learning perspective, so I want to go through it. I always love going through books, looking at the index. If you've been following the channel long enough, you know that. But the book starts with drawing materials and skills, then goes into perspective, terminology, and all the concepts that you're going to need, and then goes into more practical techniques, tools, creating grids, and that will be super important for creating both scenes and vehicles and hard surface things, as Scott Robertson likes to do. So have that in mind. If you want to go through this book, it's important to understand who the artist is. I did a video on Scott Robertson here on the channel, and it's interesting that a lot of people buy the book to draw, I don't know, cartoon characters and all of that. Of course, you'll learn all the fundamentals, but it will be way better applied if you're looking into doing more hard surface environment stuff. That is what he's talking about here in the beginning and the subtitle of the video itself. Then he goes into ellipses, super important in vehicles, working with volumes, and then applying with environments, aircraft, vehicles, and more like different experimentations with mediums and so on. So just going through it really quickly and some of the pages and some of the exercises that I like and some that I don't like as well. I'm just gonna mention that. These are really good, especially doing them before each session so you can warm up. They will go a long way in your control of your materials and pens. And even if you're using pencils and all the motion will get better and better. So some basic stuff, understanding like 3 coordinates, different curves. I finally got an ellipse guide. He talks about this over here. So it's really good. I'm gonna be experimenting with that going forward. So the basic construction of ellipses and the motion you need and the draftsmanship you need to go through it, and then goes into terminology. He goes through this super briefly. You can go all the way to more mathematics and physics of everything, how optics, how it works. But there's no need, to be honest. In most of the things, you're not going to be measuring. You're going to be eyeballing, and your perception, your perception will go a long way. I am a very analytical, mathematical person, and really, I have never constructed a lot of things. Nowadays, we have 3D. We can use underlays if we need really accurate proportions. So just understanding if you're looking the eye level that you are, and if you're looking up or down, you have 3 points. In this situation, you have 1 point no matter where you are, but you will have different horizon lines and eye level going through the image. This is super important to understand. Even cameras, what you're going to be doing. A lot of techniques that are super important. These, you should do all these exercises and understand them. They will go a long way. Here, the tilted planes, I highly encourage you to skip this, the mirroring, rotated, and tilted planes. This is too advanced to be here in this part of the book, in my opinion. And it can like really throw you off. You don't need this kind of stuff. Only if you're gonna be doing something like this that is hyper complex, and maybe even a 3D underlay will go a long way. These kind of curves in perspective, this is super important. This is way better to focus your time and study and go through that. Here you have them more fleshed out in just drawing. 2 curve combos, great exercises, creating grids and understanding looking at photos and drawings as well and understanding how they work, it will go a long way. Some tips and tricks to eyeball some of the things that you're going to need, and start using ellipses and placing them to construct the grids going forward. This is a very important concept that I think Scott dedicated too short of a time on it. You should go deeper and understand more of the relationship of the horizon line and scales and how to move around objects. I know that most of the concepts are here, but I would love to see more practical approaches. I love Perspective Made Easy book. It goes into these way longer, so it's really interesting. Tips and tools for constructing diminishing guidelines for grids and so on. A lot of examples with 3D underlay as well. So this is really interesting. A lot of people have preconceived ideas about using 3D and drawing over it, but you shouldn't. A lot of people are using that, and most of the drawings, very accurate drawings that you're seeing, have some kind of 3D underlay, photo underlay, and so on. So there's no right or wrong. Just go with it and you will definitely have a good time. As I said, a lot of examples. It will get your perception way better too. So ellipses, a lot of different ways of applying ellipses. Rotating staircases, you can go as complex as you want, and then start working with volumes. Orthographic views and for design, so start thinking in orthographics and bringing things to perspective. The two curve combos, as I said before. This kind of exercise was super important to me to understand draw through and what's on the other side, even the side that you're not seeing, you can have a grasp of the depth. So this is why I think it's really important to go through them and study them and do more exercises. And then a lot of different tools, as I said before, rounding objects, more complex, and getting all the way to what a vehicle will be, a spaceship or whatever. Line weight. Scott has a great video on this on his YouTube channel, as well as a Gumroad tutorial. I'll have links to those in the description as well. And then applying, as I said before, like drawing environments, using all the orthographics and three-quarter view, isometric, and so on. Even some atmospheric perspective, thumbnails, and all of that. I'll just go through that a little faster. Aircraft, very hard to draw the wings. If you tried before, you probably know that, especially because we usually see these drawings, especially photographs of airplanes with a fisheye lens, or a telescopic lens, because we are either too close or too far away from the aircraft. So it's not natural to the eye and it can feel really wrong. So once again, using construction tools as well as 3D underlay will go a long way to help you have a grasp of this and enhance your perception overall. This goes into vehicles. I loved another book, H Point, that is a great companion to this. I'll have a link in the description as well if you want to understand more of car ergonomics, function, and all the inner bits and construction of a car. That's a really good way to go. I used to have that book, but I don't have any more, so I won't be able to do a flip through. But here it is. So it goes a little bit through that. So it's interesting to have that. Some of the pages of H Point here, I forgot that Scott covers that as well. But it's an awesome book. If you want to go into designing cars, it's a must-have for sure. So yeah, a lot different approaches to this in construction and getting more complex. And finally, experimenting different mediums. There's another great book, Mechanica by Doug Chang, that goes into marker sketching and then go into pen and finalizing. I'll probably bring that book here on the channel as well, but this is a very very well-known approach in the industry. And that's it. Great book by Scott Robertson and Thomas Bertling. So definitely a must-have if you're into cars, hard surface, environments, props, and so on. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day, and we'll definitely catch